Hello my lovely trilobites and fossil fam. So this came in the mail. I'm very excited. It's exceptionally green, as we would have thought. It is very, very green. I want to swatch it, but I also want to compare it to some of my other green palettes to see if I already have these colors or if these are brand new colors in my collection. And I really want to swatch it against the Monteverde Cloud Forest, but I don't actually own that palette. I know, very surprised, shocking announcement. I don't own that one. So that's the one I would really love to compare it to, but I don't have it. So we're just going to compare it to all my other green ones, and I'm going to swatch this one on this arm. I just do this to cover my tattoos so it doesn't, you know, interfere with the swatching and draw the attention elsewhere. And then I'll swatch the other ones on this arm, and we'll do like side-by-side comparisons, and then I'll do an eye look, which might be in this video or the next one. We'll see. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and swatch this out really quickly for you. I'm not going to read off the names. The font is very tiny and I can't, and my Gaelic's also an abomination because I don't really remember hardly any of it. And I'm very congested still. So wow, these are going to be gorgeous. That is gorgeous. But this is a gorgeous green palette. I think some of them are kind of similar to each other. Here it is in like natural lighting. My plants did not die when I was out of town. I am surprised by this. So this is gorgeous. And now I'm going to swatch the comparison ones on my other arm. Okay, so I swatched the Odin's Eye on this arm. I didn't swatch like every single shade, but the vast majority of them, the ones that I think overlap the most. So I think this is really close. This is just missing some of like the bright green mattes. But they do resemble each other fairly well, and are very, very similar in that regard. These are just like brighter greens, and these are more mossy, like dark green. Okay, so now I'm going to do the ColourPop Just My Luck. Okay, so here's the shades from the Halloween Trick or Treat palette that I think might match the best, because it does have that bright green matte in it, and it does have some of the other shimmers as well. So I'll put the pictures side by side and we can go from there. But so you might, I like the Rock and Gem one a lot because it does go from really light to really, really dark. There is a lot of contrast in here, but it is missing a few green mattes. Like I would have loved if this had like a really light green matte, almost like this one. Like I wish this matte was in that palette because I want something like lighter. Do you know what I mean? Like I want a lighter one. I don't think the contrast is really here with this one. Like the super light shade, like I don't really see an inner corner highlight in here. I might pull this green matte or, you know, my Chaos Dirt for my inner corner. I don't usually just use one palette at all. Like I usually mix and match. So this really isn't an issue for me. But if you only own like one or two, you might not get the full depth of this one. This one doesn't really go from super light to super dark. It's a lot of more mid-tones as opposed to, you know, this one that goes from very light to very dark and does have like inner corner highlights and some more mattes. I just wish this green matte was in there or this green matte was in there. and I would prefer this green shimmer to be in there. But these shimmers are still stunning. I definitely want to combine. I mean, that's gorgeous too. Like the greens in here, I just really like green. This does have some beautiful shimmers. I mean, I could use that as inner corner highlight, possibly, but I feel like this one's missing, you know, like this might be the lightest green pastel, but it doesn't have like the pop, you know what I mean? So now I'm gonna swatch the Just My Luck and we'll go from there. Okay, so here's the Just My Luck palette swatched out, and I really like how it has a really light pastel and goes to really dark. I think that's what's missing in the Nomad palette. I wish there was a light green matte in here. I feel like some of these I could blend out to get light, but if it had a lighter one in it, I would be much happier with it. That's the only thing it's missing. Do I have a light matte in other palettes? Yes, so we're fine. I could easily use, you know, this is an inner corner highlight, one of the mattes out of here. Or what I would actually end up doing, what I normally do, is I'll come after my Blend Bunny and I'll use these mattes right here, which I actually swatched somewhere. I didn't realize my camera was not being awesome. So I did swatch the Blend Bunny right here, like the light, medium, and dark from that. And then like sometimes I'll use even this neon green if I need to, because I really think this could have used a light green matte. And then I also obviously brought out the Natasha Denona, and we did have one very, very similar to that one. We had a color very, very similar to this one, and a color very, very similar to this one, and this one right here. So this does overlap quite a bit, but again, it doesn't have the green mattes in it. It just has kind of some of the other special shades. So this is gorgeous. I've made gorgeous looks with all of these palettes, but I would have loved to see this have, some of these I think are a little too similar. You can't see what I'm pointing at. Awesome. I think some of these are a little too similar. And if one of these was like, I don't even know why there's blue in here. I mean, I get it, yeah, but I would have loved to see like a light, even like this kind of shade in there. Or, you know, a lighter shade where I could use it as more of a transition. That would be ideal. I mean, these are a little bit more minty, but still, I think this is missing a light pastel. So, which is fine. And then I have like my singles, which I'm not going to compare to all of these. I could even grab, you know, this one and grab something out of here if I needed to. I travel with this one, so this one's like really, really broken. Or I could even, you know, grab out of Sage the Day if I really wanted like a lighter green pastel, or grab out of like the Mandalorian, like grab this lighter green matte, you know what I mean, to fix, like, that's the only gap I'm seeing is like a light matte green, like a lighter matte green. Like if it had that one in it, or, you know, one of the other ones, I think we would be set. So when I do my eye look, I might pull a light green from another palette, and I don't know if any of these are light enough for me to use as an inner corner highlight. I might have to pull that from a different palette as well. But when I do my makeup, I don't normally use just one palette, and I do have a very large collection of singles, and that's usually where the other shimmers come into play here. Just a random side note, I did want to compare the Hella palette with the Ireland palette, just because I know I thought there were more greens in this for some reason, but some of these do overlap, like the dark pastel is similar, but not as much as I thought it would. Anyway, I just thought I have to throw that in there because there is green. Okay, so this is the Nomad National Parks palette. That's a green. I really use this green a lot, actually. I don't know if it's similar to this one or not. Let's see. Okay, that's really, really similar, actually. The green from the National Parks is very similar to the green from the Ireland palette. That's interesting. This is the Whistler Snow Lodge. This is more of a mint. That doesn't have a mint. The golds are probably almost, you know, very, very similar. There's a little bit of overlap here, but that green and that green. I wonder what this green. Is this one the same as this one? Whoa, those are really close. Okay, so it looks like these two from the national parks are very similar to those two out of there. Like very, very, very similar. Like side by side, I don't even know if I can tell the difference between those two. Maybe they had leftovers. I don't know. I'm just speculating. That's really interesting. Okay. And then this is the Nomad. That one. I wanted to see the greens in here, if these were gonna... That one's more of like a dark green. Let's see if this matches. That might match this one. That one does match that one pretty well. And that's interesting because, again, this is another Nomad palette. I think this one in national parks are discontinued. And I think Whistler's Lodge might be as well. So like this green and those greens are coming out of other ones. This is just like a green shimmer. No, that's more of like a different color. But interesting, that matte. I do go for these mattes as well. So I find this amusing. Is that the one I just watched? Probably. So yeah, this matte out of here and the two greens from here, these two greens are very, very similar. I wonder if this shimmer's the same. I have so much green all over me at this point. I'm kind of... This is why you swatch before you take a shower. Okay, so it's kind of like a hybrid. But this is what we're looking at. I have greens all over the table. Like all over the table. My husband's like, he came up to get hot cocoa and he's like, do I want to know? And I'm like, no, you don't want to know. Like you really don't. So yeah, for me, all this is missing is an inner corner highlight and a lighter pastel. So, but I can supplement that in very easily with any of the other several palettes that are sitting out here. But I would definitely say Just My Luck is very comparable to that. So if you're not a psychotic green fan like I am, this might be the way to go if you don't want to spend as much money. If it's still available. And the Odin's Eye does go from light to dark, and these shimmers are, I love their shimmer formula. The shimmer formula is gorgeous. It does not crease on me, but this is more of like a grungier palette, and that's more of like a brighter palette. I do like the Nomad shimmers as well. I'm not a super fan of the Blend Bunny shimmers. The Blend Bunny shimmers I don't really use. I will go after other shimmers. I will go after Odin's Eye, or I'll go after Chaos Dirt or Cleona. Sometimes I'll wear the Nomad shimmers, and you know, but I'm very particular about my shimmers. That's just a personal preference. Like this green shimmer, I obviously go after. You can see the dent in it. That one I go after. And then my singles, you can see like visible dents in those as well. So, and even in this one, you can see I go after that one pretty well, you know, pretty much as well. So we'll see how these shimmers hold up. I'll do an eye look or two once I shower and de-green myself, and we will go from there. But that's just kind of my green comparison, and I hope you found this informative. So you know, maybe you already own some of these and you don't need the overlap, or maybe you do, or maybe you just haven't seen someone with this many green eyeshadows, in which case I'm sure there's someone with more, because there always is. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys when I actually do an eye look with that after I shower. Okay, thanks. Bye.